All right, you're welcome once again to my channel. My name is MOSJARO. If it's your first time of coming across my video on YouTube, do well to subscribe and of course do well to share the video. And again, if you are coming across this video on TikTok, do well to follow me on TikTok. I get to drop one or two random videos on TikTok also. So please, again, if you know that you have not joined my WhatsApp group, I operate a private WhatsApp group where I get to drop questions like this. I get to explain the questions and again get to drop the points on that surrounds that question. For you to easily join the group, just send me a message. The number is on my bio so that you can add you to the group. But to be added to the group is just 1,000 naira for 1 month. Seems to be nothing. Yes, it's just 1,000 naira for what? For 1 month. So quickly, I have a question here I want us to trash. Remember, what do we used to do in our question in this channel? I bring out a question, using that question to analyze. So we're not just looking at the answer alone. We're trying to look at why the answer is what is like that. So quickly, let's jump into the question at hand. Now, look at this question. They said, which of the following raw materials would be required for the smelting of iron ore? Now, for the smelting of iron ore in a blast furnace. Now, I have brought out two practical areas that you must pay attention to: smelting of iron ore and of course the blast furnace. Now, we are not going to jump to the answer. That's not with MOSJARO. What I usually do is that we're trying to break it down so that we can get to see why the answer is like that, and of course we get to see questions that surrounds this question. So many students have difficulty in reading or studying. It's not about you going to the question and just look at it, okay, the answer is A, and go to the next question. You take your time to analyze and break it down step by step. So if questions come out from that area that you have studied, you go to blast it. Now look at it now quickly. What could jump to one? Now they said iron ore. Now I want to bring this out first. Iron ore. Now at this stage of your study, you must know first of all what are ores, and you must know what are iron ores. Show you the get them. So we have ores. Ores are combined states, or they are what? They are combined states in which metals are found, though other elements can also be found in ores too. Now when we talk about iron ores, you must know all the iron ores. We have aluminum ores, we have iron ores, we have tin ores. Now, because we are being asked about iron, let's try and list out all the iron ores. Now, for something to be an ore, that means, remember what I said, it's in combined state and it is impure. Show you the get them now. Now let's list examples of this iron ore that you should know. We have what we call the what? The limonite. Limonite is an iron ore. We have what we call what? Magnetite. Magnetite is an iron ore. We have what we call hematite. Hematite is another iron ore. There's what we call what? Iron weighting now, iron pyrites. And you should know that the pyrites are usually regarded as what? As fool's gold because of their what? Appearance. Now look at it now. These are the common ores of what? Of iron. Now quickly, let me rephrase that statement. These three ores, this and this, are the three most common ore of iron. But amongst those three, hematite is the most common. Remember, put at the back of your mind that I made a statement just now that ores are usually what? Impure. That means this magnetite has, or rather this hematite has what? Has an impurity. Now that is why it needs to be purified using the what? The blast furnace. So what you should bring at the back of your mind is that the blast furnace is involved in the what? In the extraction, or if you like, the purification of what? Of iron. Show you the get am now. Now look at it again. It's also involved in the what? In the purification of what? Of steel. That is what the blast furnace is used for. Now you already know what the blast furnace is. You already know what are iron ore. Now when they say smelting, smelting have to do with heat. Now there are two methods generally to extract iron, or rather metals generally. Let me use iron now. Metals from their ores. One of the two major methods we have what? By electrolysis, and the other one is by what? Is by reduction. You understand? So metals can be purified either by electrolysis or by what? Or by reduction. Now I don't want this video to be too long, but I need to bring out the point so that you understand where they are going to. Now those metals that are highly reactive, the yeramo, those metals that are highly reactive are usually extracted or purified by what? By electrolysis. For the likes of sodium, for the likes of calcium, for the likes of potassium, these metals are what? Are highly reactive. So they usually what? Purified by waiting now by electrolysis. Now, but there's one metal that can be purified both by electrolysis and by reduction. And who is that guy? That guy is aluminium. That question has been asked in exam. Now you're beginning to ask me now, what is the factor that determines the method that is used to extract metals from their ore? Now the factor that determines the method that you use to extract metals from their ore is what? Is the reactivity of the weight now, the reactivity of the metal. Now, if the metal is highly reactive, what does that mean? That means the metal is highly reactive. I will extract those metal by electrolysis. But if it's moderately or least reactive, I will extract it by what now? By reduction. Therefore, now this iron is moderately reactive. According to the activity series, it's moderately reactive. Therefore, it is extracted by weighting, by reduction. Not just by reduction, by thermal reduction, using the what? The blast furnace. Sure, they get them now. Now we don't they come back. Now you know what are iron ores. Now because I said hematite are impure, now it will be wise enough for me to tell you the impurities that can find in hematite, because it's those are the impurities that we need to remove using the blast furnace for us to get the pure iron. Now what are the major impurities? We have what? We have silicon 4 oxide is the major impurity, which is what? Which is sand, or if you like, which is silica. We have sulfur, we have phosphorus. Now these are the major impurities, but among these three, this one is the major one, because they've asked it in question before. Which of the following is the major impurity found in what? In iron ore. Now we need to remove these impurities for us to get our pure iron. Show you see where the thing they come now. Now look at it. You have known the iron ore, you have known the impurities, you have known the method that is used to extract the iron, you have known the device or the instrument that is used to purify the iron. What next? Let's look at the process that is involved. Then we cannot answer our question, because the question says which of the following raw material would be required for the smelting of iron ore in a blast furnace. That means there are raw materials that are used. So let's list the raw materials. The raw materials are what? Coke. And remember, this coke is gotten from coal, destructive distillation of what? Of coal. Now the other raw material again is what? Is the iron ore that we want to purify, because it's a raw material. We need to add it. Now the other one that is there again is what? Is limestone. And of course you have seen your answer already. Limestone, which is what? Which is calcium carbonate. Your answer is there on the board. Now ladies and gentlemen, I'm not after the answer alone. I want to check out what is this limestone used for. Now first off, this limestone breaks down to form calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Show you the get them now. Now this calcium oxide is used to remove the major impurity in iron, and who is that? Silicon 4 oxide. Now we are not done with the raw materials. So the other raw material that is used again is what? Is oxygen, obviously. So oxygen is needed in the blast furnace, coke is needed, iron ore is needed, limestone is needed. Now we have already seen our answer here that the answer is A. But the question here is that what is this limestone used for? Now this limestone breaks down because of the heat to form what? Calcium oxide, which is quicklime. Now this quicklime is used to remove the major impurity in iron ore, which is silicon 4 oxide. So indirectly, limestone is used to remove the impurity in what? In iron ore. In what form? Now if calcium oxide reacts with silicon 4 oxide, we are going to get calcium triososilicate, and this guy is what is regarded as what? As slag. Show you the get them now. So we have succeeded in getting what? In removing the iron ore. Now there are other reactions that occurs in the blast furnace, but after this has been removed, sulfur is removed through oxygen and phosphorus is also removed through oxygen. What will not happen? Will not have what? An iron that is not that pure, which is what? Which is pig iron. And because there are three types of iron, we have pig iron, we have what? Cast iron, and we have waiting now, we have wrought iron. Where wrought iron is the purest type of iron. Now let me quickly drop this, that the purity of iron is determined by the number of weight now, by the number of carbon. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can see that we have seen our answer already, which is what? Calcium carbonate. And you are seeing also that it's not about the answer alone. Alpha, why the answer be like that? So quickly, let me remind you again of my private WhatsApp group. Of course, to join is 1,000 naira for a month. If you want to join, just drop a comment, of course, or go to the number on my bio and send me a direct message. These and other questions will be dropped on this group and of course on the WhatsApp group. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I see you in the other video. Remember, if you never subscribe, you will find my trouble.